All right, everyone. Thanks for joining in. So let's start session 5. So just in case maybe there can be newcomers or be listening to this one for the first time, make sure you can always go to the AI Coach LK website. Sorry, not website, YouTube channel. And then basically you'll find a playlist for the last 4 sessions. Or is it 3 sessions? Third one is missing, right? For some reason. Yeah, so I will make sure. I think it should be here. Yeah, all four is here. So you can just go and have a quick look at it if you're joining for the first time or seeing this video for the first time. So it goes in a sequence, but just to recapture what we have gone through in these sessions up to this point is that basically we have learned what is AI and what is Gen AI. And also we have talked a little bit about what is machine learning, but of course there's a lot for us to understand about machine learning. I haven't done an official session on machine learning. So we'll go through that. So if you carefully go through this, these are the major areas. So, but at least we have understood what are those 3 major areas. So AI is the bigger picture, right? And inside that you can find machine learning, even things like Gen AI, and there are so many other things. So this is just a recap, right? So we have learned some of them, but we haven't learned anything about mathematics, statistics. But as I said from the beginning, I will not start teaching statistics in this session because it get bored, right? So, but rather I want to make this session a more practical one. You'll do things, but when needed, we'll go and learn some of those concepts. There's nothing wrong in understanding the fundamentals. If anyone joined in for my cybersecurity session, I started with something called theory of everything, which is nothing related to AI or cybersecurity. Today also, like if anyone interested, there's a say a concept called dark matter or dark energy or three-body problem. Right? So I don't know how many of you heard about the three-body problem. Even there was a television series also about this. Right? Quite good if you want to watch it, but not the TV series, but not even the novel. So you guess. So anyway, it's okay. So you can go to the novel. So it's good to understand this concept like as a concept, as a fundamental, or even if you go back to what I really wanted to talk about was dark matter, right? So understand the underpinnings, so fundamentals, right? So once you understand the fundamentals, you can learn any of those things fast because your objective here can be anything. You can really want to understand what is AI. මෙයා මේකම AI කතා කරනවා මොකද්ද මේකේ තියෙන්නේ. ඇත්තටම job loss වෙනවද? ඔව් loss වෙනවා. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම job loss වෙනවා. Microsoft මම හිතන්නේ 2000ක් විතර ඒවල් තිබ්බා. 2000 jobs lost in Microsoft or at Microsoft. Right. So මේක වෙන එකක්. ඉතින් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේක නවත්තන්න බෑ, right? Microsoft just got another 300, nearly 2,000 who lost their jobs in whatever. It was in May, right? මේක වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ වගේම අලුතින් jobs හැදෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒකෙන් too much worry වෙන්න දෙයක් නෑ මේක. You have to be in this bandwagon. ඉතින් ඒ වගේම now is the great time for you to say uh, earn money out of the things that you are learning. It can be IT, cybersecurity, AI, or any other subject. But there are 2 ways you can do this. This is what I wanted to say first. One thing is there are trends, right? So you can start creating now. There are these trends called, of course, Gen AI and of course AI video, right? So you can create small clips. Of course, a lot of people love it. The small clips sing a lot, Tamil or whatever. It makes sense, you can laugh at it like TikTok, but this AI video generation, everybody can do it. You haven't had any practical know how to do videos, right? Animations. Now you can do it within 1 sentence. All great. Anybody can now come up with their creativity, which is a great time to live in, right? In a way. But of course, then you can earn money out of it. At the same time, you can know the fundamentals or the science behind, and then you can do a lot more. It's even hard to imagine what you can do, right? So every session I want to grab that and have a roadmap for you. That's what is important. So I told you in the first sessions, we'll even do Kaggle competitions today also. We had, last 3 sessions, I haven't touched on Kaggle, but today I'll again go and have a quick look at it as well. So you can go for competitions and win and learn and build a good profile, right? So which you can probably post in LinkedIn, right? So place it in LinkedIn and go and create or Twitter or somewhere like that. So there are so many things that you can do to build up your portfolio, right? And then you can start selling your services. It can be for a job opportunity. There's no problem in that, right? So for a job opportunity, you can go and do that, right? Or else you can probably from last 10 to 15 years, you know about Upwork, right? So you can start selling your services more than ever. So my question is this, or my like basic fundamental here is this, right? You should start selling your services. Of course, that can be the current job that you are in. There's nothing wrong in it. If you have a great employer, please like give the best, right? So create your concepts. So today even I had a chat with my one of the good friends. He really wanted to. He's really happy in his current employment. He want to do few good stuff for his employer. So I said yes, you can do that. But what I'm always selling is, yeah, build things for your employer. That's fine. Great, make a great profile and find a good employer. Make the best or find the best employer in the world. If I ask a question, do you know the best employer last year all around the world? Anyone? You can chat GPT, of course. Or maybe best employer in Sri Lanka? Anyone knows? Or IT sector for that matter? You should, right? So you should always check for those things. You don't get comfortable. You should not get comfortable more than 6 months. That's what they're saying. හැබැයි එහෙම කියලා වෙලා හොඳ කම්පැනි එකක් දාලා යන්න මදිසි වෙන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. But logic එක වෙන්න ඕනේ මේක. AI ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ. ඔයා AI job එකක් කරනවා. Of course you have to. But even whatever the other job, AI can lead into better portfolio, better profile created. And then you can jump into better positions. So you have to have a map or road map, set of objectives, timeline එක. නැත්නම් වැඩක් නැහැ මේක. There are people I know who want to do PhD. That's fine. At the same time, I really want all of you to build up that profile and then start making or start selling service, because there can be a day where like what happened in Sri Lanka a few years back, your employer can be the most terrible employer, like when bad things start happening. It happened, right? It happened everywhere in the world. Of course, even such situations, there are great employers. But what I'm trying to say here is very simply saying, හරි තාම සරලව කියනවා නම් ඔයාගේ business එක start කරන්න. Whether there can be any particular day that you will end up on your own. එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? මටත් වුණා. අවුරුදු 20ක් වැඩ කළා එකම employed, right? So they asked me to leave, right? So likewise. So all these things happens. So it is a very common thing that can happen to you. If you are so fortunate, you can be at a one job or multiple job. That's fine. But having your big company, or sorry, having your company startup isn't a bad idea. So now more than ever, I told you about the last few sessions as well. AI can be used to whatever the area, computational physics, computational medicine, computational chemistry, computational, whatever the thing that you want to do in your life, arts, music, if you go to this app called, I think most of you probably know about Sumo AI, you can start Suno or Sumo. Suno, right? Yeah, suno.com, right? If you go to this website, you can start creating your own music, just giving a simple, this thing, right? So these are what people created. And so, yeah, so there were days like if you never knew how to play, or you think you don't have a good voice, you'll not go to music. But when you're at a place, I think that means that you are a musician, right? There's nothing wrong in it. So this is the time that you're doing. But anyway, this speech I have given so many times now. Like every session that I wanted to push you to build something. අද එහෙම එකක් කරනවා මම. මේකයි මම මේ පොඩි කතාව දාන්නේ. අද ඔයගොල්ලන් ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් හදන්න ඕනේ. අපි හද ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දෙනවා. අපි නෙමෙයි මම දෙනවා. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඒක ෆයින් ටියුන් කරලා මෙන්න මෙතනට ඕන අප්ලෝඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන්. There are so many other places. You can go and sell it on Gumroad. Like, there are so many places. Maybe you are having your own place. Like even Upwork, you can start selling your services. Like Upwork එකේ ලංකාවෙන් ගොඩාක් කට්ටිය වැඩ කරනවා, right? In the 50, even $300 per hour. And how many of you are in topmate.io? Anyone here? You can create a profile like in LinkedIn. Anyone are in a particular network site like this? Comment කතාවක් තියෙනවනේ. your network is your net worth killer. Your network is your net worth, right? Sorry, not new, net worth. කෝට් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ network එක වැදගත්, LinkedIn එක වැදගත්, නැත්නම් Twitter එක වැදගත්, right? So your network is your network. පොතකුත් තියෙනවා මම හිතන්නේ. Yeah, read it. It's okay. So anyhow, so coming back, so Gumroad is place where you can sell things. You can have your own Shopify, Etsy. Those things are great things. Of course, there are ways. I'm not going to explain how to do marketing, manage, all this stuff, advertising. I'm not an expert on any of those areas, but you have to. Right. Anyhow, we'll start quickly on this. If you go here, there are people who have done so many crazy things. Let me go and check. I had few. We can directly go and I think you can search people for AI or Gen AI, whatever. You can see here, right? So there is this guy. So we select one person, which looks like a real person for that matter. Right. So some of these guys have. There was this guy I was following actually into cybersecurity. I'll just show you the example. He was particularly great, right? So digital products. So he had so many options. This guy was actually coming through expert dashboard. We go to expert dashboard. Probably I can find things people quickly here. No, not this. This is about my one. And there are a few people here, so we'll probably get one or two people like this. Security discussions. This guy from Azure. So we just check from any guy from Microsoft. Yeah. So this guy is there. Let's go and check one or two people. I've seen really great profiles, right? So this guy actually does cybersecurity mentoring and he gets $36. And you can go and basically work as a consultant, right? So you can give coaching. So he's having a CISSP certification. And if you wanted to build up your profile, you can talk with this guy. It's like $36 per hour or something. So similarly, there are this guy again. This guy is for free. Maybe he's just starting out, right? So nothing bad in talking with someone. This guy seems to be, yeah, some experienced guy. So he had done already 49 sales, digital product. So yeah, that's good, right? So this for 10,000 rupees, Indian rupees. So you can go there and probably register yourself and onwards, right? And this guy, okay, he's having several products and onwards. So you can go and have a quick look at this website, TopMate. So I've seen there are a lot of good people here. Now it's a digital product. So similarly, you can even sell your product from this. So this is just a one side. Of course, you have Gumroad and several other. So I would really like, now my lesson for today is develop this product that I'm going to give you, make it a better product, and at least create an environment here, right, as a digital product, right? And then start probably marketing a little bit. You can fail, it's okay. So while we go through these scenarios on and onwards, right, you'll be able to pick one particular point where you really love to do, right? Okay, but you don't have to always come up with the AI-based software, but there can be so many other things that you can do, right? Because AI is everywhere these days. Maybe it'd be hard for you to market because so much of supply, less demand probably. But even it's not the case. There are enough demand. You have to find the niche area, because one of my friends said that they were really looking into come up with bots in Sri Lanka, and people are doing that. Some people are doing GPTs. Probably you know about GPTs, right? If you go to ChatGPT, there are these things called GPTs. I think we discussed about it, right? So that's probably the aim. So if you think, okay, I don't even know how to code, that's what we're discussing, right? So we'll learn a little bit more, right? So let me close all these things. LinkedIn. Yeah, we'll come to Kaggle a little bit. So anyway, summary, you have to build things and you have to start selling them. I know it can be a little bit early, but it's okay. Let's try to work it towards. Right? So these sessions are all about AI, but Friday, tomorrow I won't be doing it. But this Friday session is about research-based startups. So if you, some of you are already there we go from zero to directly publishing something, right? So publishing something. At the meantime, I'm going to give you, okay. Oh, sorry. So I was saying, so that's the aim. And of course, the second thing is you have to know the fundamentals. That's why I always refer to this road website. So you need to really work hard on these fundamentals. Then what will happen is you will know that you have a confidence that you can build anything. Right? You are not just asking ChatGPT to come up with some product. No, you are more than that. You are more than familiar with the concepts, and you can basically ask someone to do it, and you can verify. කාටද කියන්න පුළුවන් හදන්න කියලා ChatGPT වෙන්න ඒජන්ට් කෙනෙකුට වෙන්න පුළුවන් හදන්න. අර අපි එම්ප්ලොයි කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා වගේ තමයි. දැන් මේ AI එන්ජිනියර් කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා වගේ තමයි AI ඒජන්ට් කෙනෙක් ඉන්න එක. හරි කර්සර් තියනවා කියලා කියන්නේ software developers පස් හය දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා කියන එක තමයි. ඉතින් හැබැයි එකම දේ වෙරිෆයි කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් වෙරිෆයි කරන්න දැනුම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔන්නෝක තමයි මේ සෙෂන්ස් වල වෙනස තියෙන්නේ. ඒක YouTube එක බලලා මේක ගැන අවබෝධ කරගන්නට වඩා මේක ඩීප්ලි ගියාට පස්සේ වෙනස වෙන්නේ ඔන්න ඔය කියන බේසික් කතාව. Right. I hope it's clear, right? So that's what really want to talk about last 15 minutes. Right. So let's try to work this around. Any questions? Hope this is okay up to this point. Right. So let's start with there's a lot to share today, but again, time is the problem. So let's start building it first, right? So let me quickly share the initial code base to you guys. I can share it in WhatsApp. It'll be easier for you, I believe, right? If not, tell me. I can post it in. Okay. Anyway, it's a small zip file. I have shared it WhatsApp. You can download. At the same time, I can give a link. Tell me if you have a problem of downloading it to your desktop using WhatsApp. This adsnapstudio.zip file. Is there anyone who have a problem of downloading it directly? I hope it's okay, right? Right. So then what you should do is you can unzip it and you can open it up through. If you have Visual Studio Code, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to worry too much. So let me open it up here. Right. So I have it unzipped here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make another copy of this. I create a new. Oops, let me do it on my. Yep. Okay, so now let me open this up. So once you open it up, you can find this code base. You all can do this with me. If you want, you can have a quick look at it, watch what I'm doing. That's perfectly fine. But you guys even can work with me on this. Just run it and right now and see how we can improve this if you wants to, right? And I'll explain this code, but initially I'll show you how this works, right? So there's these things called components and services. Today, like for the first time, we'll talk about a little bit about coding. Up to this point, I've just ran some prompts on Cursor and Gemini Express, Gemini CLI. So it was just like, magically appearing things. But this time we'll talk a little bit about the coding structure and all that. Because I'll tell you the reason for it. When you work with now, you all can make software or videos and everything, which for the moment we'll assume we are going to do development, right? And make products and sell it, even small products, mobile applications, mobile games, whatever, right? It doesn't Chrome extensions. It doesn't really matter, right? There are so many things that you can do, or you can make a custom GPT, right? If you go here to ChatGPT, and if you go here under this, there are so many custom GPTs which you can build. There are, I think, thousands or maybe millions of them. Right. So as you can see, for writing, people have created, and there are so many thousands of people are using this, and some of them you have to go and buy, right? So you can build a small, see, there's this whimsical diagram tool or finance and economic stock, right? So this one, I have not installed it. So this is used by almost 5,000 people, right? It's been rated by more than 5,000 people and 1 million conversations. That's a lot. So if you have never worked with a GPT, this is something called GPT. So it says up-to-date market data, news insights, plans. So let me close this up. Clear expectations of finance, blah, blah, blah. So can I get APL? APC SAPL, right? So search in the web. So it can more than what you called as ChatGPT. This is a specific GPT created on top of ChatGPT. right? You can make it application and give it to or sell it to investors in Sri Lanka. But the cool thing is it goes and get all this Apple related information. Last Friday, how the share price went, last month, last 6 months, last 5 years. So it started, you can see if you invested like when was it, to 2020, it was only $100. Now it's almost double the amount. And you know what happened to dollar as well, right? It's 300 times more if you invested in Sri Lankan rupees, right? Dollar එකක් ගත්තා නම් දැන් හිතා ගන්න පුළුවන් නේ රුපියල් ඒ දවස්වල ඩොලර් 100ක් මං හිතන්නේ සෑහෙන අඩුයි. දැන් ඩොලර් 247යි. ඉතින් shares 20ක් 30ක් අරන් තිබ්බනම් ලොකු value එකක් තියෙනවා. Anyway, so the point is that this GPT can create these graphics and everything. Of course, we can Google ගන්න පුළුවන්, but what we need is to create this environment. So this is also something that you can celebrate, right? Anyway, I think මම පැහැදිලිව point එක දැන් කිව්වා, right? අර මොන තියෙන ඇප්ලිකේෂන් හදන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. දැන් අපි බලමු මුලින්ම මේ ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එක හදද්දී මොනවද හිතන්න ඕනේ කියලා වෙලා. දැන් මේ ඇප්ලිකේෂන් හදලා ඉවර ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එකක්. අපි රන් කරමු. හැබැයි මෙතනදී පොඩි Python ටිකක් ඉගෙන ගමු, ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක ඉගෙන ගමු ඒ වගේ. දැන් එක පොඩි concept එකක් තියෙනවා හැමෝම තේරුම් ගන්න ඕන. ඒක තමයි අපි මේ chat GPT නැත්නම් curse එකේ මට මේක නිකන් කියන්න පුළුවන් මට මේ ඇප්ලිකේෂන් එකක් දෙන්න කියලා. දැන් මේකේ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ, the problem of this is you are so much dependent on the language that you use. It's a good thing. There's nothing wrong in it. It's called vibe coding. Vibe coding, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගොඩක් අහලා තියෙප දැන් vibe coding. හැබැයි ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ මේක අපි test verify කරගන්නත් ඕනේ. අපි software company එකක් ගත්තට පස්සේ they don't do it in this way. They do it a completely different way. Now we will stepwise we'll understand this very clearly, right? But the software company product එකක් හදලා එකපාරට market එකට දාන්නේ නැහැ. So they send it through quite a serious process. I think if somebody has learned software engineering, you heard about testing, debugging, validation, verification, so many things. I think this is what we are talking about these days called context engineering. So I'm not going to teach you context engineering today, but you can think about things like prompt engineering, context engineering. There's a difference. You have to look at all the aspects. There are new tools coming out in the industry which knows about this context engineering. So we don't directly go and start coding. We analyze requirements and then you do the design. So those things also can be embedded pretty easily. That's the cool thing. හරි ඉස්සර මම මතකයි even I taught system analysis and design, right? It's a very difficult subject to teach because ඒක තේරෙන්නෙත් නෑ හරියට හරි අමාරුයි. But you know there are a lot of business analysts, system analysts probably here also. If you miss something, it can be $1 million failure at the end, right? ඉවට ලොකු ගණන් වලින් සල්ලි fail ලා තියෙනවා projects වල ලෝකේ. හරි දැන් අපි කියලා තියෙන මම I don't know, you have heard that SAP or SAP කියලා කියන සමහරකට SAP is a huge product. But you know, the story that you don't know, yeah, it's a great product, everybody loves it, but there are so many mishaps they have done. They have probably lost billions of dollars because of their software mishaps. We need to make sure we use context engineering and other software engineering techniques, right? Agile we will learn that. Like මේ class එකේ AI වලට අමතරව ඒක අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා class එකේ මේ sorry session එකේදී. If there's anyone who is already doing this, please come and share with things. ඉතින් මේ GitHub එකත් මම share කරන්නම් ඉස්සරහට. මේ කතා කරනවා ඒ setup එක. There's a step by step guide how to write goals and generate the PRP product requirement prompt එක. ඒකත් prompt කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක තමයි ලස්සන වැඩේ තියෙන්නේ මේක. අපිට ඕන වෙලාවට ඕන කෙනෙක්ව ඉක්මනින් මේක හදාගත්ත හැකි. software engineering ගන්න පුළුවන්, DevOps engineering එක හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම තියෙනවා. ඉතින් right? So දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ තමයි දන්නවත් ඇති Grok කියන එක එළියට ආවා. Grok 4 කියන එක ආවා. නැත්නම් Grok 2 3 4 3 තිබ්බා මම හිතන්නේ. 2 තිබ්බා. Grok 4 එළියට ආවා. Anyone knows why there's a huge talk about Grok 4? Maybe July 9th, we can almost like 2 weeks back, is it? Yeah, almost. So why this was so like there was a huge fuss. Of course, Elon Musk මොනහරි දෙයක් දාද්දී එන ලොකු fuss එකක් කළා තමයි ඊට දාන්නේ. If you go to x.com, if you carefully look at, not carefully, like you know, Elon ගේ profile එක බලුවොත් එහෙම මේ දවස්වල යා ඕක ගැන තමයි කතා කරන්නේ හැම වෙලෙම. Elon යාගේ fake profiles ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. මේක තමයි හරි profile එක. Yeah, so you can of course check there are 222 million. 1 billion followers, right? But anyway, he's only following. You can go and check like who he's following, right? It's another fun thing to do. This can be important things. You guys can, if you want to really have, I don't follow any of those, it seems, right? But it's a good thing to check who and what people that he's following. Anyway, coming back to the point, if you carefully looked at, so මේ දවස්වල කතා කරන්නේම grok ගැන තමයි, right? Valentine කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා. Then Elon Musk reposted something. Elon Musk reposted again. Later stage we talk about news. News ඉස්සරහම ගත්තේ නැහැ මොකද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට කම්මැලි වෙන්න පුළුවන්, so you have to learn something. But අපි news වල කතා කරමු. Elon Musk had achieved lot of things last 2 weeks, even though he lost a lot of money out of some of those share market issues. Yeah, but you can go and check. It's Grok 4 everywhere. You can see Grok. Okay, anyway, coming to the point. What is Grok and why it is so important? There are so many reasons why it is important. You can see the graphs and everything. Anyone knows why it is really cool? Yeah, so this is the one. They have several models. One is called Grok 4 Heavy. Grok 4 Heavy kila model එකක් තියෙනවා. When I say models, I think you all understand, right? මෙතෙන් අපි පොඩ්ඩක් වෙන පින්තූරජ්‍ය මෙතෙන්ට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට models ගැන අවබෝධයක් ගන්න ඕන නම් don't get so much confused, right? When මේක load වුණාට පස්සේ මෙතෙන් ලෝකේ තියෙන models තමයි, right? There are many, right? Then you can see, of course, coding වලට Grok 4 ඩිම්ම ඉන්නවා මේ වෙලාවේ, right? Right. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි හේතුව. ඉතින් තව බලමු coding වල coding වල උඩින්ම තියෙන්නේ O4 mini for some reason and Claude 4 Sonnet. Grok එක පේන දෙක මානක නැහැ, coding වලට මට පේන්නේ. Code වලට තියෙනවා coding. The difference I need to carefully check. Web development වලට Gemini, yes, I think that's also good, quite good. Yeah, and you can see GPT 4.4 here, DeepSeek, also, and Grok 3 is here. Anyway, so now the most important part about this Grok 4 model is that it can run multiple agents. What do you mean by that? Now, cursor when I'm running cursor, if I give a question, right, it can run only one agent ideally. It's a sequential model, right? It's a sequential thing. Okay. It's a sequential thing. But models like Grok, this is possible for in Claude as well. Yeah, you can do multiple agents. You can have a website එකක් හදනවා, web එකේ front end එක අපි එක්කිනුට දෙනවා හදන්න කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාට නිකන් අතරම software engineers තුන් දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා වගේ තමයි. It's almost like having 3 guys working for you. And you can make, of course, multiple more agents if you have enough, power and all that. But remember, Grok 4 Heavy, you have to buy for paying $300 per month, right? $300 per month, my goodness. But I'll teach you methods. You can do the same implementation, but paying like even sometimes nothing, right? But it's harder to implement it, but you can implement it, right? But if you really go and get Grok 4, right, for your use like here under pricing, yeah, so it's quite expensive. It's quite expensive. Somewhere there should be, if you try to go and get it, it's $300 if I'm not mistaken, right? But this is the value there. Hope it is clear up to this point. Any question? So this is a very important thing. So that's where like people are really now not worried, but really looking into basically you need to make sure software engineering practices are done. ලෝකේ හැමෝම දැන් software හදනවා. හැබැයි හැමෝම මේක කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒලා තමයි අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ අපි මම කිව්වාගේ අපි you have to understand the fundamentals and then build it. Right. Anyway, here is enough. Let's come into jump into implementing our product. So I hope you guys have downloaded the software. Now we can have a quick look at it and we'll try to run it first. පොඩි මේක run කරලා බලමු. හරි. දැන් මේකේ තියෙනවා components කියන එක වෙනම තියෙනවා. මේක Python code එකක්. It's a Python code. You can see different Python live codes and you are going to learn about this, right? Even next week also we're going to talk about it, right? And then we have services. You see what are the services once we run this application. And then you have utils, right? And then you have workflows, right? And then, of course, you have environment variable and you can, it's already there, right? This environment key is already there, it will work, but don't heavily use it, right? You can create your own environment. I'll explain to you. So the website that we are using is for this is called Braille. It's braille.ai. Yeah, .ai. It's like OpenAI, like, where ChatGPT is there, but this one is this was in specifically for images, right? Or image related things. So this application also is like image generation application, right? So we can basically go and then create a free account, and this all these things gives you free stuff, at least for like few calls, not like to use it daily basis for thousands of calls, right? Request, but at least so you can go here and create it. But this application works, so we don't have to worry too much to create API. But later on, I'll show you how to get the API key if you really want one, and onwards, right? But we'll just run the application just for fun, right? And then of course this is the coding, right? So how do you first time if you are doing this, right? What or how we have to do this would be basically you have to go to the terminal, and when you run application like this, this is actually used or developed using an interface called or a front end library called Streamlit. So how do you normally run this is you say Streamlit run space app.py, right? This is once you do that, it will automatically run in your local host, right? So but if you are doing for the first time, you have to make sure you are installing some libraries. So you have to make sure there are some libraries are needed. Of course, if you go here, you can see there are some import libraries, and of course here few more, right? So you have to install these libraries. So how do you install this is pip install. So this is the command. So if you have everything on this requirement.txt file -r requirements.txt, right? So once you do that, you can get it installed. I will not wait a long time here, but probably next week we'll do a activity stage wise. You can get prepared your environment and come. So this is the first time that we are really working with the same code. I'm working with it, you are working with it, so we can do a sort of practical. But today I'll show it to you. But if you want, you can do it now. It's not a big deal, right? So, and don't worry, I'll work on this basic Python stuff today as well. I think time would be enough here. So once you install these things, I'm not going to run it because I've already ran it. Okay, so I'm not going to do it right now. Yeah, and then once you install this, you can just say, I can even just do it here like this. What will happen is basically it will check whether everything is satisfied. If not, they will install it. So in Python, I told you that's this common thing that you do. You create a virtual environment, right? And it's much better in that way. But I haven't created one here. But I'll teach you the Python workflow very clearly. මම මේ කියලා තියෙනවා කීප පාරක් මම ලස්සනට මේ කියන්නම් වෙනම වීඩියෝ එකක් විදියට. එතකොට ඕන්ලගේ Python setup එක හදාගන්න එක it's like nothing. Right? If you're Python developers here, that's this is like bedrock, simple stuff, right? Then what you do is you are running this application saying Streamlit. When you do that, you can get errors, then you can correct it. No worries. If you don't have cursor, don't worry. There are so many other tools that you can use. Last time or last week, we talked about Gemini Express, Gemini CLI, and stuff like that, right? Enough, said enough. So now let's run this application. I ran this application earlier in my cursor. So it's the same thing. There's no difference. Right? So only thing is I have paying like $10 to $20, so I can get you can ask any question at any time. So there was a quick error, but I have corrected that error in the coding that I've sent to you. So I'm going to run this now, right? Then I'll show you how this works. And this application is what I really want you to how do I say, improve, adding more components. This is quite a good application, right? Can you all see the application now? It's called AdSnap Studio, right? This is the key added. If you want, you can create your own key here, right? You can create your own key, right? I think if you go into, where's the exact location? API documentation. Sorry, get the API key. It was or officially here, right? API keys, and you can create one. It's already they have created like production, staging, UI. You can create one and then copy the key, right? So don't copy my keys anyway. It's not shown, right? So you can't copy it, right? So now once you come here, now you can see like I know you have worked with many image generation products, but try to understand how flexible this is. The thing is, this is also free in a way to some extent, right? You can't go and generate hundreds of images, but you can. Leonardo AI, if you have ever worked with Leonardo.ai, Leonardo, I think I haven't installed the app, but if you go to Leonardo AI, this is one of the best applications like Midjourney. People love Midjourney. There's no questions asked, but Leonardo AI gives a lot of things for free. So it's almost the same. But now the difference, what is the difference? Now, when you're doing this, you don't have any control of the code. You're just like giving a prompt. But now we are building application. That's what is important. So to understand the weight of it. Value right? You can see like this really great images created. Of course, then you can do so many other things, videos, and you can do, I don't know, editing and all this. Most of it you can do from here as well. Now, let's start with something, right? So anything particular you want to generate? Let's just say I want 2 dogs. Any breed that you love. I know everybody loves dogs. Crowd anyway. Okay, 2 dogs, but it's not a good prompt, right? 2 dogs from Sri Lanka. I don't know whether it's a good prompt. So let's enhance the prompt, right? Enhance the prompt. So this is we are in the generate image section. You can see you have to give a prompt, and you can say how many images you want. I just say 2. You can give the aspect ratio. So all these are written in the code, right? You will understand it, don't worry. And you will write code and you will test the code. You will make this interface. Interface extremely telling ගොඩාක් ලස්සන interface හදන්න බෑ. අපි ඕනනම් ලස්සන interface එකක් හදමු ටක් ගාලා කියලා lovable එකෙන්. lovable එකෙන් පුළුවන් bolt එකෙන් පුළුවන් bolt. තව තියෙනවා v0 v0 කියලා එකකුත් තියෙනවා. right v0. but අපි bolt එකෙන් හදන්නේ හරි quick. lovable වඩා quick bolt එක. dismiss. Yeah, I saw I'm already logged in. Bolt, sign in with Google. You guys can do it now if you want. Please do it. May session, I know there this. I see some of the names coming continuously without for the last 4 weeks. This is the 5th week, right? But I want you to do things and showcase for others. Samuel, have you done anything? Any project after this point if you want to share? Next week, share the information. Anyone wants to share something? Anything that you guys have done up to this point? Any product or any idea that you worked on? We will discuss. We have to. Anyway, let's say I am creating an image generation application. Balloon make a snapshot tag gun. A studio. Yeah, I have created the basic setup. I need I would say, what's the best word? Loving UX, something like that. We just go and say it. So of course you can say which database you're using, database system, it's all good. So I'll make sure I'll give a bit of a time to do that. And Bolt still is logging in. Okay, it's not GitHub. I'll go with Google. Yeah, V0 is also good, but let's try our level best to keep it to these 2. Sometimes the free version is a little bit, it's not that fast. Window terminated. Okay, let's reopen it. Yeah, because I have so many applications running, maybe that's the reason. So most of the time, this guy might also not work. So let me run this again. Let's close Leonardo. I think you guys know about Leonardo. Let's get cursor. Let's run this again. Yeah, it's running. Oops. So there are some issues with the Bolt. Yeah, it's all right. In V0 also we'll close. Let's check. Yeah, it's working out its front end. So we'll work out with our one. Right. So let's go and get 2 dogs from Sri Lanka. We'll enhance the prompt. Right. So you can see it's enhanced in the prompt. Right. And let's see what will be the ideal prompt. Okay. It says something like this. Photorealistic photograph of 2 Sri Lankan street dogs sitting side by side on a weathered concrete surface. One dog has short golden blonde fur. Okay, you understand the point. So I'll not waste too much of times. Let's generate one image. Otherwise, it will take a long time. And also the image style is realistic. You know, this realistic Sri Lankan videos are there everywhere, right? Govio innoa, Mamom innoa. So it's realistic. It's called realistic. If you carefully check, there are artistic, cartoony sketch. Sometime back, you see like what happened in the other space, right? So I get this one. I can even now share this here in a cooler way, but let me just get the URL and do it. මෙම හදලා තියෙන්නේ මේ code එක තේරෙන්න coding side එක. පොඩ්ඩක් තේරෙන්න, right? Not a lot. Let's get the images into a folder. Right. So let's open our two dogs and see. Ah, not bad, right? Yeah. So it's almost Sri Lankan dog. You can't. I don't know the breed of the normal Sri Lankan dog. that පාරේ ඉන්න බල්ලගේ නම මට හරියට මතක නැහැ. කවුරු දන්නවද නම එයාට කියන නම? Shih Tzu නෙමෙයි ෂුවර් එකටම. You know. So that's sort of a type, right? Okay. So now we have it's almost realistic, isn't it? A concrete surface and things like that. Right. So image is generated. If I want, I can get 2. Aspect ratio is 1.1. So all these things we can code in a very different way. That's the cool thing. You have to do it, right, with me, and you have to upload this app by putting your own branding. Label. Yeah, Tamrad. Agent cross adapt. Okay. Yeah, it's almost deploying it. If you can't, I don't know if you can see it here. It's deploying things. Yeah, let's give it a bit more time. Then we'll go to live. Now it can do so many other things. Lifestyle shot tag ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි මේක දැන් browse කරලා ගමු අපි ගත්ත photo එක. Session 5 images. මේක තමයි seed එක. දැන් මේක අපිට පුළුවන් you can make it more realistic. You say lifestyle photography. බලමු අපිට කරන්න පුළුවන් දේවල්. So people who know about this photo stuff, there's this thing called advertising වල pack shot කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. If you Google කරද්දී pack shot කියලා මේවා ඩීටේල් මම කියන හේතුවක් තමයි දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක හදන්න ඕනේ, right? මම source code එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා, basic එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා, ඊට පස්සේ මම tools ටිකක් දැන් පෙන්නනවා. Last time Gemini, we work with the studio. So I give more tools today. So you have to now, you don't have to worry. You don't have to go and learn Python and no, within 1 minute, you can create the application. So we are going to sell it. That's the whole point. Otherwise, what the whole point of doing this, right? Right. So packshot tag can still moving image of a product often includes packaging and labeling. Okay, packshot tag where it can be a kind of a advertising tool, right? Advertising sort of marketing tool. But anyway, it's okay, I think. Background color, we can set it to, I don't know. What is anyone here who having experience is black demothari, white demothari, pure white demothari make. Force background removal, enable content moderation. Api enable ka matlab make moderate karna puluwang. Anyway, let's go and do the back shot. Until that, okay, now we can go here. So you can see probably not the best looking one, but it's almost copied my model. That's what happened. But anyway, it looks better than, yeah. So my one, right, with Streamlit, I think we can make a Next.js link. We learned that as well. See, the same thing, generate fill. It doesn't know what's happening in live shot. That's why under only this, you can see the number of images in aspect ratio. He has, he doesn't know everything, but he have assumed and created it. So this is like the front end. So I can make a better front end. And of course, I can have this dark mode and all these other things coming in. I can have, you can see like it's a bad thing. Even it has find out a nice image or what you call as a logo. Right. It's taking a bit more time, it seems, because I'm on a free model, but we'll wait. Okay. Fail gateway timeout. There's a timeout for some reason. Yeah, let's run it again. Maybe I might have to create change the API key. Maybe it's all I already have taken the time. Anyway, so okay, shot created successfully. Yeah, okay, it worked out. You can see now we can use this image for whatever you want. That's how it happens, right? But now we have a AI workflow. This next one we can use the back shot, right? We can download this. Right, and basically we can use the pack shot. This is the pack shot, and do the next thing. Right. Sorry, I named it wrong, but anyway, you got the point. And let's go quickly to the generative field. Right. So now draw a mask on the image, describe what you want generate in that area. So these are common things in Leonardo AI, right? අපි බලමු දැන් ඔන්න pack shot එකම දාමු මෙතෙන්ට. pack shot PNG එක මේකට දාලා අපි කියමු මේකදී we can yeah tool එක පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? Chat rich image, it's okay. Yeah, no, it's all right. Brush width එක අඩු කරලා අපි අපි කියන්න පුළුවන් මෙන්න මේ area එකේ, so whatever this area, okay, describe what to generate in the masked area. Yeah, something like that. Describe what to avoid. Yes, so these are the common photo advertising workflows, right? But it's already installed. So let's try giving describe what to generate in the masked area. What do you want to have? So dogs goes with what? Dog food. Maybe dog food, we say. Dog food. Anyone knows the brand? Brand of, say, we'll quickly check. Dog food brand. Anyone which used Royal Canin. Okay, that would work. I'm not sure. Royal Canin. What to avoid? I'm not sure, right? Number of variation 1, that's fine. And seed, we don't need to give a lot of seeds, but anyway, you can make enable. So anyway, let's generate and see. So, okay, we get the one already images here in this situation. We have to wait a little bit, I think. Okay. I'm not sure whether it really worked out, right? So, but anyway, I think you got the base point, okay? Let me check what to generate in the mask area. Maybe the mask area is not properly done. Maybe that's the reason. But anyway, let's go to the next one. I don't want to spend a lot of time. You can improve all these things once you understand the code base. And don't worry, you don't have to really learn Python. You can use the tools that I'm giving you. So next time you can come up with all those fun things. And erase element, the next one. Let's try to do another one quickly. Let's go to seed one. Yeah, now of course you can see this one also, that's fine. And brush color, erase or enable. Okay, we'll say enable content moderation. This is the last option. Yeah, you can give something like this. I think this is where you can, how you can erase an area or something, right? Erase selected area. Yeah, so I'm not going to fully put my time into doing the modifications, but you get the basic idea. Yeah, area successfully removed. Okay, maybe the 2 dogs were removed, but anyway, you got the point. So let's try to work around with all these issues, in the next stage. But you now see we can generate images, we can create a lifestyle shot, and then you can have a generative fill. This should work. It worked earlier, but let's try to, because I think there was a situation where I added background of what do you call it, as a forest. Let me quickly see what was that option. Okay, you can add a, okay, we can get a lifestyle shot. Okay, that's what we'll do, right? Yeah, this one is good. Lifestyle shot, text, we can give a text prompt. Placement type original, manual, automatic, okay, original. We can see again 4 results and describe the environment. So now this one also looks like, okay, it's like, looks like a sort of a, maybe a jungle or sort of a greenery environment. We can say Sri Lankan parliament, right? For fun. I don't know whether they will understand it. Parliament in Colombo. Yeah, so let's see, generate lifestyle shot. This time, so basically you're going to create a lifestyle shot. Yeah, it seems they're getting few. Let's go and see. First one is here. So don't get angry with me if we have a bad picture. It's not still available. It's maybe still running. Okay, it's almost good. Okay, it's there now. Yeah, it's all it's not the parliament. I think they have taken the municipal council. Yeah, you can't blame the AI for that. I had to give a proper instruction. Right. And then again, the next image, we'll quickly check. I don't want to spend a lot of time. Oh, it's almost like somewhere in Colombo. You can't blame AI for that as well. This is the second one. We'll get the third and fourth one quickly without wasting any more time. Oops, it looks almost like from India, right? Not from Sri Lanka. Uh, Last one. So you should get ideas like what you can do. There are so many things that you can do. Now, please understand the difference. Okay, it's somewhere in probably Pakistan or somewhere. It's okay, right? So this is much better than using Leonardo AI or Midjourney. You have so much of control here because you're coding this. Of course, you have interface, and of course, you can make a product for a niche environment, maybe for medical situation, for doctor, or maybe I don't know, maybe some business that you know create image application for a doctor, image application for a I don't know, psychologist, something like that, right? Or a kid school or a nursery. Okay, so there are so many products that you can do. So I'm giving you the base code, the base concepts. You're going to work on it. Okay, any questions up to this point? Let me close down all the unnecessary ones. So you can, of course, you can see how we can create one from Lovable. That's fine. And if you go to Braya.ai, you can learn everything. I'll just, for the moment, I'll just keep it there. You might need it. Okay. Any questions? You got the base idea? It's a fully working application. You can just try out after this session. Maybe you're listening to me, but you can run it without any problem. All right. Okay. No other questions up to this point? All good? Right. So let's now quickly go into this quick tutorial just to uh, give a kind of idea for people who have never worked with Python before we look into the code. Now, you know what is Python, right? So I'm not going to do a programming teaching lesson here, but you know, there are different types of languages in the world. You have low-level languages, mid-level, and of course, assembly is like one of the, you can go and get a programming language readable. I've already gone Tuesday session. If you go here, you can find out there are so many programming languages. Now there are newer languages like not newer, truly not Rust, right? Rust, and then of course Go and things like that. So you can see so many languages. Some of them are pretty old. You can see like they're pretty old stuff, right? But there are plenty of newer languages and cool languages, I would say, right? So, but you have to know a little bit about languages. But again, how like you apidan language and no, you can learn bit about languages just to do crazy things. This is enough. Even there's a musician here. You can learn this. This is making an ABC wage. Hari, come. Right. So Python is a language. The major difference of Python is it's an interpreted language. If you get C or C++, these are called compile languages. Compile languages compile the code and you run something called executable. But මේ Python code එක එහෙමම තමයි run වෙන්නේ. line එකෙන් line එක. ඉතින් ඔක හොඳක් තියෙනවා නරකක් තියෙනවා. අපි පස්සේ කතා කරමු ඔය ගැන. Right. දැන් අපි install කරන එක Python තමයි first එක. So when you're installing Python, of course you can go to Python website and download and install it. Nothing much, nothing big. But when you like if you have ever worked with Python, Python can be basically run in any place, truly speaking, any space, even your mobile phone. But it has this prompt mode also. Make a C වල C++ වල මේක පේන නැහැ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. Terminal mode කියලා එකකුත් තියෙනවා Python වලට. Thing. So the current version of Python, my terminal, yeah. So I can say Python, yeah. So I can go and whatever issue the command. Even like you can issue some other commands. ls doesn't work, but the other commands like pip might work or something like that. Or even not even some of those commands, but the code might work. You can say import Panda, so if you have that one, you can, of course, the module, no module name Panda, but if you have it, you can use it, or maybe code, I don't know, OS. Okay, it's there, right? So now the code is running, actually code is running. So that's how it works. So the codes can run like, you can say print. If you know the syntax proper, maybe Lakmal, it might work, or maybe it's not the way how we give it, right? So maybe you have to use something like this, or maybe not. So you have to know the syntax. That's where you have to understand a bit of the syntax. But you can run code in that way. But before that, you understand any programming language, you have to store your data. Maybe programming lesson right? So that's this strings that you can use. We get this guy here. Right? Be quick. Probably this would be the quickest programming lesson that you got, right? So it's all right. So let's say Python, right? Now we can work out all the magic. So we can say this is a string. So that's what they're saying. No, this is a string thing. You can create data that will be residing memory store කරන්න පුළුවන්. That is how it works. So these are strings. Strings කියනවා ඕන language එක තියෙනවා. Images තියෙනවා, strings තියෙනවා, integers තියෙනවා. All these things are there, right? So you can do a simple equation. අපි කියන්නේ calculation එකක් කරනවා 2 + 2 is 4. සමහර විට අපි හරියට හරියක import කරලා තිබ්බොත් we can do something like 5 into sine 60. හැම ගහන්න පුළුවන්. බයි අපි දැනගන්න ඕනේ මේ syntax එක හරියට. නැත්නම් of course 5 into 800, whatever this number you can do. But some of the numbers it might take bit of a time to calculate. ඒක තමයි computer හැටියට තමයි. So make sure you have all the numbers here. Yeah, that works. But you can go for pretty large numbers if you have power of something, maybe. Yeah, 4 to the power of 5, maybe the way how doing is wrong. Anyway, so you got the idea. Similarly, then there are lists and dictionaries. So dictionaries are so famous in Python. So list එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ array එකක් කියලා කියනවා සමහර කට්ටිය. මේ dictionaries කියන එක ඊට වඩා ටිකක් වැදගත් දෙයක් වෙනවා. මේ වගේ දේවල් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. මෙතෙන් දැන් අපිට මේක මෙන්න මෙහෙම එකක් dictionary එකක් හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේක වුණා අපිට නමක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. මේකේ නමක් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මේක ඩික්ෂනරි එකේ මෙමරි එකේ තියෙනවා මේ වෙලාවේ. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට වේරියබල් හදන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් මෙච්චර අපි වේරියබල් පාවිච්චි කරේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මට කියන්න පුළුවන් යූසර් නේම් එකක් දෙන්න. යූසර් නේම් එකක් හදාගමු මෙතෙන්ට. I'll say it in this tutorial it says show, but I will say Lakmal. Yeah. Now if you want to print, you can say print. මේ quotes දාන්න ඕනේ. quotes මේ parenthesis ගන්න ඕනේ. User name. So then you can do all the shit that you want to. ඉතින් ඔක තමයි programming language එකේ තියෙන්නේ මුලින්ම data තියෙනවා. data. අපි not only can data කියලානේ. Right. So ඊට පස්සේ අපිට තියෙනවා scripts ලියන්න පුළුවන් මේ වගේ පොඩි code snippets ලියන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් coding දන්න කට්ටිය දන්නවා ඔය shell coding කියලා කියනවා. එක එක ඕක තමයි තියෙන්නේ ඉතින් පටන් ගත්ත දවසේ නම්. ඉතින් අපිට පොඩි code snippets ලියන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට ගන්න print අපිට කලින් කරාම හිතන්නේ ඒකනේ. print hello world. සාමාන්‍ය අපි කියන්නේ first code එක අපි ලියන්න ඕනේ hello world නැත්නම් හොඳ නැහැ කියලානේ. right? පොඩ්ඩක් කියන වස් වදිනවා කියලා something like that. Yeah. So then of course we can have loops. Loops are very important in any language. Think for loops, while loops, I'm not going to run it, but we'll probably run one. That's okay. There's no harm in running one command we'll write it down here. For I in range 5. Okay, I need to write the whole thing. Range 5, and then I need to do print I. Oops. I think there's nothing else. Yeah, so that's done. And then when you go a little bit detail into things, you can write things called functions. දැන් මෙහෙමවා එන්න හේතුව තමයි අපි මේ කෝඩ් ලියලා ඉන්න වෙලාවක් නැහැ හැම වෙලේම රීයුස් කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒකට අපි ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් ලියනවා. හැම වෙලාවෙම අපි 1 ඉඳන් 100 ගණන් කරන්න ඕන නම් ඒක එක ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් ලියලා දිනවා. දැන් ගණන් කරපන්. ඒකට එයා දන්නවා කී දැන් කීයද. ෆන්ක්ෂන් වලට වෙන පැරාමීටර්ස් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් 1 ඉඳන් 100 ගණන් කරන්න එපා හැම වෙලේම. මම දින නම්බර්ස් දෙක එකතු කරපන්. ඒක තමයි ෆන්ක්ෂන් එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ. right? So ඒක අපි මතක තියාගන්න. ඉතින් සමහර programming languages වල මේකට functions කියනවා, methods කියලා කියනවා, එක එකව කියනවා. ඉතින් function එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඔය කතාවට. හරි. අපි අවශ්‍ය වුණාම detail යමු. ඊට පස්සේ there are these things called libraries, very important. My goodness, there are so many libraries in Python. Right? So if you go here, Python libraries, the best place to understand about Python libraries would be, of course, Python website. If you go to docs, or even if you go to this pypi.org, you can find there are how many projects? 6 million projects, not 6 million, 600,000 projects. Here, if you want anything, any type of, let's say, science, maths, you can find a library for that. And you can see, but you have to be careful, use them. Not that every library is so famous. Like if you say Panda, no, there's no one in the sun, under the sun, that doesn't know about Panda library in Python, right? Of course, you have to know Python a little bit, Panda library. Similarly, there are so many other, or Matplotlib and other things. So don't worry for any of those. This is just for a quick overlook, that's all. So then, of course, when you do your any code, you need to make sure you are installing or you are using some of those libraries. Because අපිට කවුරුයි කරපු දෙයක් ආයි පරක් කරලා පිස්සුවක් නැහැ. I think so. We use libraries, right? And then, of course, virtual environment. So we talked about it. Again, this is a very fast track refresh on Python, right? Don't worry. So we are going to create virtual environments. So it's easier because then you are not going to mix up your whole computer installing unnecessary Python libraries. මෙම තමයි install කරන්නේ pip install, but දැන් අලුතෙන් තියෙන framework එක UV කියලා ඉවරලා pip එක වෙනකොට pip එකේ සෑහෙන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. So if you search here, you can get pip versus UV. I think it should be pip versus UV, right? Yeah, UV. Yeah, UV is quite better, right? So if you read this article, you can see UV is one of the best things that had happened in Python for some time. It's so fast, so fast. We'll talk about probably these things stage-wise. Don't worry. I'll remove all these ones. Right. So these are these major libraries. For data, we have pandas, like I said. If you are a visualizing guy, right? So you can use Matplotlib. If you are a machine learning person, of course, we'll talk about these things in another 2 weeks' time. There are so many libraries, sklearn, scikit-learn, and on that. For deep learning, these are the 2 biggest libraries in the world right now, TensorFlow and PyTorch. We learn both. And then we talked about transformers. If you want, you can go back to the video series and check. We talk about the Hugging Face transformers library, which is a Python library. We even used that particular day in the video. You have the recording. This is the transformer library. We can talk to any large language model under the sun again, right? And then, of course, website stuff. You have Beautiful Soup, and there are so many other. Right, that's enough. That's more than enough to just for the starting point. Right. Any question? Don't worry too much about it. Any questions? Right. So just stage wise, we learn Python also when it is needed. Now let's go to the coding. Right. I don't need this anymore. We have gone through this. Right. Now let's go to my cursor. Am I in cursor? Yeah, all good. So now I'll quickly go through and explain a code a little bit, because this is the whole point of today, right? So now when you look at a proper project, now the valuable thing about here is this is a proper project implementation. මේක මේ නිකම්ම cursor එකකින් විතරක් upload කරපු product එකක් නෙමෙයි. This product is developed in a proper way. මෙතන testing ටික clearly අපි මේ වෙලාවේ කරන්නේ නැහැ. Debugging ටික. හැබැයි මේකේ උදාහරණයකට readme එකට ගියාම everything is clearly documented, right? So as an example, a powerful Streamlit app generating professional product ads using මේක ad හදන්න හදපු එක. ඒ කියන්නේ studio එකල දැම්මේ ad snap advertisements හදන එකක්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක හදලා ඉවරලා ads හදන්න ඉක්මනින් ads හදන්න කියලා සාමාන්‍ය අර small level එකකින් කරන කට්ටිය ගාවට අරන් ගියාගෙන product එකක් විදියට. පිටරට කොහොමද කරන්න පුළුවන්. මගේ ලංකා කරනවා. right? Advanced image generation manipulate. ගොඩාක් අඩු cost එකකට කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද මේකේ මේ Brea how do you, I don't know how to pronounce this, Brea.ai කියන එක හරියම cheap. ඒකයි මේක පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙන්නේ. OpenAI හරි වෙන එක Midjourney පාවිච්චි කරන එකම ගොඩක් ගණන්. Generate HD product image, remove background, or තමයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කරනවා. Add realistic shadows, create lifestyle shots, AI powered prompt enhancement, optional CTA text property, yeah, intuitive UI controls, yeah, everything. You can improve this, of course. You can now put it to GitHub, and this is how the installation works. You have to put the API key and usage, how to use it, and configuration and everything is there. You can carefully go through and read it. And we are using currently Streamlit, but if you want, or you should, I'll teach you also, but you can also put a front end from Next.js. I love Next.js. Of course, you can have your own likings, right? React, or of course, Next.js is React in a way. And yeah, so MERN stack, mean stack, but Next.js is like quite popular these days. Like, or maybe you can use Go, or I don't know. Maybe there are plenty of other full stacks that you can use for web dev, right? Hope it is clear. And once you go, now this is like you can see the folder structure. Some of them are in the components directory. So there are a few components like image preview component, which is used in many web pages. Sidebar component. Of course, you can remember if you carefully look at this, there's a sidebar. Sidebar එකේ මෙතන ලොකුවට දෙයක් නැහැ මෙතන. මේ sidebar එක හරි පොඩි මේකේ. ඉතින් sidebar එකක් තියෙනවා උනාට. You have a sidebar, right? Yeah, coming back. Then the upload function. So these are written down. And if you get a one simple code, I'm not going to go line by line. That's not the point here. You can see the functions. Def is valid image කියන function එකක්. Python function එකක්. ඒක parameter pass කරනවා. ඉතින් මේ ටික අපිට පස්සේ හැමින් සරේ idea එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. මේක තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් I can ask now this is the value of having cursor. I can just add to chat here saying, can you explain this code for me? Right. Right. So I'll teach you another way, like how you can do this. You can open up a new cursor project and ask you to teach HTML if you want to. It's a valid image function is a file validation. Stepwise make a cursor wage tool. Gemini Express. Tools on than free pouch can plan. Don't worry, you don't have to buy anything. Right? So we can use. Now it's explains everything. And if you don't know about how this function works or this library works, you can still go and have a look at it. In this way, learning is better. Right? And also you have to know a little bit like එකපාරට ගිහිල්ලා අපි කවදාවත් මේ වගේ මෙතන ඉගෙන ගන්න යන එක systematic නැහැ. Basic ටික කරලා ආවට පස්සේ we can learn like that. It's much better because you're doing something, doing a project, and you're planning to earn some money out of it. It gives a motivation also, right? So I'm not going to talk too much, right? So then the uploading function and upload file, if conditions තියෙන මේක if conditions ඒ වගේ. කොහේ හදනක ST කියලාට නොත් එන්නේ මෙතන streamlit පාවිච්චි කරනවා. Streamlit පාවිච්චි කරනවා. I think even there are good what you called as comments, and this can be useful later on to do proper documentation. So software engine process එක මේ කාව වෙන ලස්සනට. Okay, those are the components, and most of the things we do it here. Now erase foreground, generation fill. Can you remember the generation fill? Most on all, like how to generate the image. So here, can you remember? So we had to give a prompt. Enhance the prompt using Braya AI prompt. අපි අපේ prompt එක ගහලා මම enhance කරා. මම ගෙවේ 2 dogs කියලා විතරයි. ඒක එච්චර ලස්සන නැහැ එහෙම ගෙවුවාම. 2 dogs from Sri Lanka. මෙයා enhance කරාම නේ හොඳ prompt එකක් හදලා දුන්නා. ඉතින් මේක කරන ලියන code එක තමයි මේක. right? So එතනදී අපි ඒකත් prompt එකක් through තමයි ගන්න ඒක. ඒකත් අපි code එකෙන් අපි prompt එකක් හදලා යවනවා AI එකට model එකට. Enhance the prompt using Braya's AI prompt. then arguments තමයි මොනවද API key එක යවන්න ඕනේ අපේ original prompt එක යවන්න ඕනේ original prompt එක වෙන්නේ මොකද්ද what is our original prompt 2 dogs from Sri Lanka කියන එක right so we are going to send that one I'll close this I don't need this anymore right so right and then any other additional arguments and what get returned is the enhanced prompt so මේ enhanced prompt එක තමයි return වෙන්නේ මේ return වෙන එක මේක මෙහෙම දාලා තියෙන තේරෙන්න ඕගොල්ලන්ට right මේක එන්නේ ඇත්තටම JSON එකක් එන්නේ ඉතින් ඒක enhanced prompt එක return වෙනවා data act විදියට then we can do the rest of it so this is enhanced let's say can you remember we do the pack shot කියන එකට අපි ගාව ගියාම right so if you wanted to go to the pack shot which is lifestyle shot then whatever happening in this interface is all written here right ඉතින් මෙතන ගොඩක් අර interface elements ගැන නෑ මොකද interface elements ගැන ඔක්කොම තියෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ app.py කියන ෆයිල් එකේ ඒකට දිගයි එකක් පස්සේ කතා කරමු. ඉතින් මේකෙදී අපි there's another prompt here. Create a professional pack shot for product. ඉතින් මොනවද යවන්නේ API key එක automatically එනවා. හැම එකටම API key එක යවන්න ඕනේ. Image data. Image එක යවන්න ඕනේ. Background color එක. ඉතින් අපි මෙතන තෝරගන්න එක තමයි එතකොට background color කියලා අපි තෝරගන්න එක මොකක් හරි. And then a few other parameters. Force, RPMG. These are all different techniques we use in our image generation process. Return එක තමයි dictionary containing API response. ඒක dictionary එකක් එන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒක Python data set එකක්. නැත්නම් අපි data value එකක්. So with that, we can do whatever we want. So of course, here what we got is this particular response, which is a dictionary, sort of a simple dictionary. Dictionary. Don't worry too much, but I hope you got the base idea. Right. I think that is enough because it's almost yeah, it's almost, we have another 45 minutes. There's some other cool things to cover, but I hope you got the base idea. So very simply saying, what you need to understand here is your components in a different directory, and there are few Python files which you can go through carefully. And you don't have to. What you do is you use cursor, or of course, I told you about Gemini Code Express. Ask to study the whole file set. This is what I also ask. First, index the files. You can see here, index the files. Now I can ask any question from cursor. මේක මම කිව්වොත් එම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මේ Gen AI ගැන දන්නේ නැති කෙනෙකුට කිව්වොත් එම ගිහිල්ලා මේ කෝඩ් එක ලියන්න කියලා කුණුහරු පහ ගන්න වෙනවා මට. මචං අපි මේ we don't know Python or nothing. But now you don't have to, you can't say that because you know exactly how to work with the tool like cursor. It's just prompts because it's like English, right? It's not English, Tamil, but right now it's English, right? So, but now we are doing this with a little bit of a context in your mind. Context engineering done now. So then services, right? So what are the services? Generative field. For each tab, you have a particular file. And then of course you have something util, you don't need to use it. And then there are some workflows. Only one workshop is there. So workflow is there, how to generate that advertisement, right? And then finally you have the app.py file, which is probably the most valued one here. Not the valued one, but this covers basically the front end. එකයි මේ ගොඩක් if conditions අනම්මනම් තියෙන්නේ. Don't worry too much about it, right? So it's just basically creating the interface elements, right? So it's a bit of a bigger, quite a big one, which have 900 lines of codes. And then finally you have the environment variable in the .env file. For the moment, that's I think enough. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Right? Ask any questions. So now the objective is that anyone did manage to run this application, download it, and using cursor or any other tool, install all the packages, which is in the requirements.txt file, and ran the application. Okay, try to do it leisurely. Go through the video again if you want, but try to build up. Next week, I will make sure this has a very nice interface. Everything works perfectly, and which is like in a way where we can even sell it on our platforms. No one would buy it initially because no one knows you, no one knows your environment. Who cares? We can build it every day. Right? I'll give you the instructions next week how to set up your LinkedIn properly, Twitter properly, and probably start writing a blog and start building your whatever, like, network, right? So then you can, sell it, right? And of course, there are so many other ways, right? So you can go directly to the clients and do the, what you call as direct sales and whatever. So we'll talk about it later. I hope it's clear. So now please make sure you work with this. Yeah, Kavin, any question?
Yeah, actually, so this one, like Snap Studio is particularly for the graphics purposes.
Exactly. So similarly, we'll do another project, a large language model project for voice. Another one for anything. Like if you can come up with an idea, I'll create the base code and we'll start working. So make a වෙනස තියෙන මේ session එකේ අපි මේකේ නිකන් theory කතා කරන්නේ නැහැ. We'll build a product. But again, we don't just because guys, like, building a product now as an example, same project, right? This one. Let me open up a new cursor, right? File open folder. Everyone, please get this idea. New project, right? And even a small kid can do this, right? I would say I need to create image enhancing app for image studio industry. Make sure to have services like image generation. You can use Brio.ai or something, right? Or any other LLM providers. Image enhancement. create front end, sorry, create pack shots and onwards, right? Make sure to use Node.js front end. Then I can give that allowable interface, but I don't need it. But see, now I can do this, right? So now they'll start building this without any problem. 10 minutes, we can have a working system with all what we have seen earlier. You can start indexing docs. This is how it works, right? But now carefully listen, right? This anybody can do, but we are not going to restrict it to whatever that simple application or even the very complex application what Cursor is going to develop for us. But what we are doing is we'll understand the software engineering process, guys. Right? Right? Virtusa එකේ මොකද්ද පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? Creative Solutions වල Virtusa එකේ විතරනේ sorry මේ ලංකාවේ විතරක් නෙමෙයි Microsoft එකේ Google එකේ we'll understand that and we'll set up that environment here using vibe coding. Can't we? We can, no problem, right? And then of course we'll do testing, we'll do validation, we'll do all that complete process. I'll teach you the complete process, don't worry, right? I'll do the complete process, right? Load so what I mean by the complete process, what I really wanted to show you, yeah, this one. Now see the developer's guide to AI tools. Do you think only Cursor is there? No, there are plenty of things. As an example, we have conversational tools. Hamoma danwa ChatGPT, right? Claude, Gemini, right? But then there are AI powered development environments like IDEs, something like Cursor. And there's another one called Warp. Let me show you Warp. So this is Warp. Warp is like almost like command line. I'll teach you how to work with Warp probably next week. So you can use MCP servers and plenty of fun things you can do with Warp. Right? A lot of people do that. You can see it's almost same setup. You can see, you can type your thing here, but it's a little bit different than how it works. It's different than Cursor and all that. And then of some continue.dev. And there are so many other things getting every day, different IDs coming in every day. There's a lot. And then when it comes to code generation, we have Copilot, something called Augment Code, Gemini CLI, Claude CLI. And then we have things like app builders, Lovable, I showed you, something called build.io and V0. And then code quality checking. There's something called Code Rabbit. So we'll use these exact workflows. If you're not using Code Rabbit like tool to go and do your code analysis, you can sell product to a small company. That's fine. It will work. But if you're doing serious stuff, right, so this is not the Code Rabbit. You're missing a lot of things. So yeah, this is what I wanted to go. AI code review, right? Cut code review time by half. You can do instant stuff. Of course, like somebody can say, "Macham, Code Rabbit, මේක ඔක්කොම යාලි සල්ලි යනවනේ." අපිට පුළුවන් මේක build කරන්න free tool එකක් විදියට. Can you remember last time we developed using our own ChatGPT? You can do that. And of course, if you are worried about your security, you can go and work with Snyk or Snyk. අපි cyber security මේක detail කතා කරනවා මේවා ගැන, right? මේකෙන් ඕන bugs හොයන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර bugs $1 million වලට යනවා. පෙන්වන්නේ code ferryන එකේ if you guys are building a smart chain blockchain application, see how much they are willing to pay for a one bug, right? So one bug or this whole project, they are giving almost $100,000. මේ ලංකාවේ සල්ලියෙන් කෝටි 3ක්. හරි කෝටි 3ක්, right? කෝටි 3 හම්බ කරන potential එකක් තියෙනවා. If you're really interested in how to do these things, you guys can come to the Tuesday session. But anyway, you can learn if you want to. So going back here again, and there are so many other debugging tools, jam කියලා තියෙනවා. ඒක නම jam.dev මං හිතන්නේ. Yeah. So මේක කරන්න ඇත්තටම මොකද්ද? Debugging and testing. ඉතින් තවත් tool එකක්. So this software engineering process we learn. කවුරු හරි කලින් කිව්වනම් it is documentation වලට you can go to Mintlify. මේක ටිකක් ගණන්. හැබැයි මේක අපිට මේ වගේම තව එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේකේ තව tools තියෙනවා බයින්න එපා. නැත්නම් අපිට තනියම හදා ගන්න පුළුවන් මේක. right? දැන් ගොඩක් companies මේ හැම එකම සල්ලි දීලා ගන්නේ නැහැ. ඒගොල්ලෝ internal develop කර ගන්නවා. මෙතන ඉන්නවනම් කවුරු හරි software engineering firms වල ගොඩක් කට්ටිය දැන් මේක පාවිච්චි කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ like even you can go and place like open router. ඊට පස්සේ තව තියෙනවා මෙතන ninja කියලා tool එකක් තියෙනවා. Open router Ninja tools, yeah, Ninja tools. Now the difference between Ninja tools and open router is that, you can create a login here and you can basically connect to any open model that you want to. We talk about these things in detail, quite detail. අපි ගොඩාක් detail කතා කරනවා, right? ඒ one pricing බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්, compare කරන්න ඕනේ. boss sale කියනවා ගන්නට හරි. උඹලා කියනවා අපි AI වලින් කරමු, but give me the cheapest models. So then you can do a lot of experiments here and find out what is best for you. මේක තමයි ලෝක ලංකාවෙත් වෙලා තියෙන හැම රටකම වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. There are so much of things to work with, but you don't know where to start. ඉතින් ඒක තමයි මේ ධර්ම අවශ්‍ය fundamentals knowledge එක. I hope it is clear. So the message that I want to give you from this project that we did today, almost the last hour or so, is that we will build a product, but we'll understand the whole software engineering process. ඒකත් දැන් වෙනස් වෙලා එක්තරා level එකකට, right? Context එක වෙනස් වෙලා. ඉස්සර වගේම software engineering ඒ විදිහටම යන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ දැන්. ඉස්සර අපි Carnegie Mellon University is one of the best universities to learn. Carnegie Mellon University. මේක තමයි හොඳම software engineering course එක. මේක තමයි CM. What is that? I can't remember even the framework. Software engineering කරන කට්ටිය framework එකක් තිබ්බා. Yeah, this one software engineering framework එක CF එක තව කීපයක් තිබ්බා මේකේ. So ඕන software developer කෙනෙක් මේක initially refer කරනවා. So Facebook එකේ ඉන්න හැම engineer කෙනෙක්ම මේක එහෙමම පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. They have their own models. But you go and get these best frameworks like this is CF, or you can go to what is the other one, Agile framework, right? All these things are really great. It's not that NASA is not using it. NASA is using this, but their own version, right? These are the frameworks: Kanban, Crystal, Scrum. Scrum is great. අපි ලංකාවේ දැන් software industry ගත්තොත් එහෙම, because I know this in Slascom, you have some of those data. Slascom එකට ගියොත් එහෙම Slascom එකේ කියලා තියෙනවා මේ මතනේ Scrum certified කට්ටිය ගොඩක් ඉන්නවා ලංකාවේ. Sri Lanka is one of the best places to do software engineering, right? Then you find a lot of people who are Scrum certified. ඒක වැදගත්. ඉතින් හැම company මේක කරනවා. So now what we're trying to do is කවදාවත් නැති opportunity we have. That is like we have access to all these things using AI. So why don't you use the right process? So don't worry. I'll give you this particular URL. You guys can have a quick look around this. I'll share it in WhatsApp now. ඒක මම host කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Right, so you guys can have a quick look around. You can download it as well. So you can understand what sort of tools now. මතක නැත්තම් මම මේ කියපුව වීඩියෝ ගායි නැවත බලන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මෙතන තියෙනවා ඒ tools ටික ඔක්කොම ටික. ChatGPT on demo click කරාම දැන් demo එකත් load වෙනවා. videos ටික run වෙනවා නම් ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මම දන්නේ. Yeah, ඒක නම් වැඩ කරන එකක් නැහැ. Yeah, මේ videos එක run වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මේ site එක වැඩ කරනවා. You can go to these sites and check. Right, guys. So let me close down all the unnecessary ones. Until that, take a breath and tell me if there's any questions. So summary up to this point, I said that, okay, you need to know the fundamentals, and we talk about a bit about how the technology stack works. And now I gave you a kind of a challenge. The challenge is basically to start with, one product and go to the extra length or the full length. So I gave you a place for you guys to even share your resources, how to build up your digital product, digital services, like of course Gumroad and several other tools I have shared to you. So start building this on your own. Hope it is clear, right? Any questions? So then I can go to the next one. We have another 20 to 30 minutes left. I'll try my best to finish it within 12 or 9:30 on your time. Hope it's okay, right? If you don't have questions, let me go to my slide deck quickly. All good? Any questions? Fine. So let's quickly go through. So I talked about, these are some news items and important stuff. So I talked about Grok, so why it is important. And if you wanted to understand about this, how to build up these heavy tools, which you have multiple agents, there are a lot of free ways that you can do. I told you every time, don't worry too much, right? So let me put one here. So if you go to the same GitHub link, make it heavy. Let's search it. GitHub, make it heavy. So most of those stuff is already, in open source basis. This is what we have to love, like, what people have done. So a Python framework emulate Grok heavy ennat kalin meka evelle ivarai. I think you have to learn a little bit about how to use these things like open routers and everything, right? But you can create similar environments where you can have multiple agents. And if you can remember, can you guys remember we talked about N8N last week? Oops, I think N8N.io, is it N8N? Yes, .io, right? So we created a small agent framework, right? So we have done it visually, right? But now we can do it, code base. අපි next week මේක කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. අපිට කොහොමද මේ N8 විතරක් පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැතුව අපි කරන්න පුළුවන් මේක මේ locally කරන්න පුළුවන්. We can download N8N to our local computer rather than paying them. We can do it, but now we can code it as well. So try to understand, you can have all these agents creating so many things. You can see මෙතන වෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා parallel agent execution. Research කරනවා එක්කෙනෙක්, analysis එක්කෙනෙක් කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ නිකන් Facebook එකේ 100ක් ඉන්නවා නම් මෙතන 25ක් දානවා මේ වැඩේට. ඉතින් like you are running a 100 head company. You understand what I'm saying? One, I hope you understand, right? කියන්නේ වාට මේ 100 heads තියෙන company එකක් run කරනවා වගේ. ඉතින් මේක ඕනම දෙයකට කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකයි වෙනස තියෙන්නේ. චීන මේක දැන් මේ මොනවද මෙඩිකල් මොනවද සර්ජරිස් වලටත් පාවිච්චි කරනවා මේ framework. Robots වලට පාවිච්චි කරනවා. So see, you should now understand how the world is going to change in the future. I hope you got the base idea, right? Let's move on. Then of course something interesting happened last week. මේක හරි වැදගත්. මම news items කතා කරන වැදගත් හින්දා Windsurf කියන company, I think you all probably know. Windsurf කියන එක. So it's like another editor like Cursor. Windsurf කියන එක, right? So this company this product also was a good product. You know what happened? I think it was initially Facebook wanted to buy for $3 billion. My goodness. අටක නමයට කලින් Instagram එක ගත්තා Zuckerberg $2 billion වලට. Right? Okay. So pretty bad, right? Pretty bad. So what happened? මේ ගන්න ගියා හරි ගියේ නෑ මේක. Windsurf එක සල්ලි වලට ගන්න එක. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද උනේ? මම හිතන්නේ මට මතක නෑ මොන කම්පැනි එකක Windsurf එකේ වැඩ කරපු 30ක් engineersලා තව කම්පැනි එකකින් ගත්තා මේ head hunt කරා. Headhunt කියන මම last time also I talked about what Zuckerberg is doing. So එතකොට උනේ මොකද්ද? මේ company shell එකක් වුණා. It's called like just a shell company. When you see like a lot of people going out from your company, say we have Virtusa එකේ වැඩ කරන top 10 වලින් 9ක්ම යනවා එළියට වෙන company එකට. එහෙම වෙච්ච අවස්ථා ඕන තරම් තියෙනවා. එතකොට අර Virtusa එකේ value එක නිකම් බහිනවා. Even though you have products and everything. So this same thing was going to happen for Windsurf, but fortunately, there's another big company called Cognition acquired Windsurf. Then මේවා ගැන දැනගන්න මේක හරි වැදගත්. Because then you will understand where people are heading. So why don't you? I told you last time also. ඇයි Zuckerberg ඔයාව ගන්න නැත්තේ? ඒ level එකට you can build yourself thing. So this whatever happening in the what you call the Silicon Valley or wherever it's happening is important. So Cognition has signed a definitive agreement. So most of මේවා ගොඩක් කරලා මේ Twitter එකේ යන post මේවා acquire Windsurf. In acquisition includes Windsurf's IP. Windsurf එක අතර මේ website එකත් සෑහෙන download මට වෙන්නේ. මේක ටිකක් හොඳ level එකකට තිබ්බ එකක් for some reason. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my thinking. But anyway, so they are going to get the IP, trademarks, brand, the business, and a lot of things. We are also honoring their talent and hard work in building Windsurf into a great business today. Just think that they wanted to buy it for $3 billion. My goodness. So that was a lot. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it. There's a lot to go through. And then, of course, Zuckerberg put a note 2 days back. He said today's Mark announced Meta's major AI compute investment. So for our super intelligent effort, so last 2 to 3 weeks, last 2 to 3 months, Zuckerberg was trying to acquire a lot of people from the best companies. He was fishing. He used the word fishing, headhunting, and focused on building the most elite and talent dense team in the industry. To some factor, it's true. Right now, it's OpenAI, Google DeepMind, and there are a few other companies I cannot recall directly. But yeah, so we also going to invest hundreds of billions of. It is true, right? They are building one of those big, what you call multi GW clusters. ඉතින් මේ සමහරව මම හිතන්නේ කොළඹ කියන තරම් කියන එක වැරදි. අපි උත්තම කොළඹ සබබ් එක තරම් ලොකුයි. We are calling first one of Prometheus, and it's coming online in 2026. We are also building Hyperion, which is be able to scale up to 5 gigawatt over electricity ගැන දන්න කට්ටිය දන්න මේවා කොච්චර ලොකු places ද කියලා. ඉතින් මේවෙන් ගොඩක් දේවල් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ data centers වගේම මේවා මොනවාද? Not just data centers, but this is our processing houses. ඉතින් මේවේ graphic cards තියෙනවා, ලොකු හොඳ processing computers තියෙනවා. We are building multiple more Titan clusters as well. So learn a little bit about hardware. We haven't talked anything about hardware. So it's another cool topic. We'll talk about it in the days to come. Right. And another thing, now Meta has in the recent or last 2 years had given so much of things for free. ගොඩක් open weight models දුන්නේ Meta තමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ ලාමා ඒවා දැන් අපි ගත්තොත් එම Google එකේ Gemini, OpenAI වල GPT model සමහර ඒවා they will never give out for free. Weights ටික free දෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි we talked about it, right? Matrices ටික free දෙන්නේ නැහැ. Model එක free දෙන්නේ නැහැ. අර ඔලාමෙන් අපි download කරේ ඒ සමහර free අපි download කරාට කවදාවත් GPT model එක download කරන්න බෑ. ඉතින් but Meta had given all their Llama models, Llama 2, 3, right? But now they are planning to more of make it little bit closed source. It's a great loss, but yeah, but Meta was a good open source company from the beginning, I would say. I think a strategy වෙනස් කරන්න ගන්න බෑ. AI වල strategy පොඩ්ඩක් close කරයි because a lot of things happening around the world. And of course, you probably have seen Grok again. Grok එකේ මේ ඉන්නවා අමුතු characters එනවා එළියට. ඒක a lot of fun to look at. And of course, Grok කියලා කියන්නේ XAI, ඒ කියන්නේ Elon Musk AI company එක. We spotted couple of issues with Grok. මෙන්න මේක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණා. Grok එකේ training වල ප්‍රශ්න ගොඩක් ආවා. I think Grok අර මං කිව්වේ super heavy කියන model එකේ වුණා there are problems that people are facing. Even though අපි කියන්නේ evaluation model එකකින් කිව්වත් they are the best product කියලා, but there are several issues, right? එහෙම වෙනවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. Evaluation models say these are the best ones. අපි මේකත් පෙන්වුවා මං හිතන්නේ. Here, if you go back to where was my comparator? Maybe I close it down. It's okay. If you go to a leaderboard, you can see it works perfectly, right? But when it comes to the real world stuff, sometimes basically it has their downfalls. It can happen, right? So no, that's how it is. Okay, this is the one, right? This is the one. So these are the ranking models. So they say for code, maybe Grok 4 is good, but still it can be the other way around at sometimes. But remember, Grok 4, they have to pay $300, the super heavy model. And some people have their own, what do you call the criticism against that. But as an example, like when you ask, what is your surname? They always say, what is called? It's called Mecha Hitler, which is like, some people were furious why Hitler's name was proposed, right? At the same time, they were asking question, what do you think? It's always go to Elon Musk thinking. I mean, like it's a bias, right? Of course, bias. It was not a bias, but some ex-employees, ex-employees ex-employees කලින් හිටපු employees ලා සමහරට තරහ වෙලා ගිය කට්ටිය ඒගොල්ලෝ change කරලා තියෙනවා මම හිතන්නේ මොකක් හරි code level එකෙන් ඒක they have corrected it. So even Elon Musk has accepted that. So a lot of things happening every day. So yeah, so I don't want to talk too much about it. And of course, then this is a bit of a technical thing, but you have to understand in something called machine learning, we'll talk about it, something called reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is getting more universal. ඒක ටිකක් අමුතු දෙයක්, මේක හරි භයානක දෙයක්. ඉතින් කිව්වට උගන්ට එකපාර තේරෙන එකක් නෑ. Even large language models were trained using basically reinforcement learning, right? So මේක value එක තියෙන්නේ මේගොල්ලන්ට data අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේක නෑ human thinking කියන එක දැනට තියෙන හොඳම model එක තමයි reinforcement learning. Human thinking වල ළඟ. මේක improve වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ next level එකට. It's going to be a serious eye opener. Yeah. And of course, Grok has already got so many contracts from US. Even Elon Musk and Donald Trump had a tough war, but still things are getting better for XAI. They're getting a lot of defense contracts. Of course, they have got so many NASA contracts for the other company, the rocket company, but still they are getting a lot of contracts, defense, especially defense contracts. I think this is something done by Elon Musk or someone else. They're getting a lot of defense stuff. Defense stuff, you understand, the biggest budget in US is defense budget, billions of dollars. You understand why, right? Last several weeks, you have seen like how US is trying to control all the country, including Sri Lanka, right? Yeah, and then of course there are other news. Smaller companies like Mistral, they have also come up with quite a good model release. I'll not talk too much, but මම ගැන පොඩ්ඩක් හරි කතා කරන්නේ, you have to just to get an understanding a lot of things happening. But sometimes you might think, I don't understand a lot of things that you're talking about. ලොකු වචන ටිකක් කියනවා. ටික ටික එක හුරු වෙයි, right? පොඩ්ඩක් news අහන්න, AI news, tech news, right? එතකොට වැදගත් දෙයක් තමයි podcast අහන එක. If you have this application, podcast application, if you are a Mac, or you can have several applications for Windows, there are some good podcasts that you can listen to. And of course, if I show the top charts, so you can see a lot of podcasts are there. If you go and search for AI and all that, so if there's a very interesting podcast called Practical AI, which I've been listening for a long number of, probably say, months. So you can see, like, even one day, yesterday they have released a podcast. So this is pretty great, Practical AI. And if you are into tech news, there's this channel called Twit. I've been listening for last 15 years. This is where I get a lot of my knowledge. So you can see these Twitch shows are there. They talk about everything under the sun on technology world, about Windows, and this one is security. This guy is a marvelous guy. This guy is great, but the other host is someone called, this guy Steve Gibson. He's a wonderfully experienced person, and he's a very practical person if you really want to go cybersecurity on things. And of course, any topic under the sun, as you can see here, you can find the podcast on it, and there are quite good podcasts that you can listen to. So these are the ones that I'm registered into. Of course, Risky Business is a good one, which I've been listening for some time. And of course, CyberWire Daily for cybersecurity. Similarly, if you are really interested in anything, like as an example, what else? Business news maybe, right? So there are really good. Bloomberg is good. Anyway, this is just for you to give idea about listen to the news. So every day, like last probably 2 to 3 sessions, I've been getting probably one big thing that happened in the industry, and I was basically explaining there. But right now, today, I just want to say, okay, shared few more news items, but next few weeks also I'll be doing this, which is because this is very important. Right. And also there's this new one. This is nothing into, what is this? I'm not sure what you call it. Like, this is a Korean food, Kimi K2. This is another great one that you have to carefully look into. This is Kimi K2. It's one of the best models that came out. A lot of people were really, really, interested on this release. This is a Chinese company called Moonshot AI. We can see like how good they are. They are almost fighting with Claude. Claude is the top for most of the benchmarks, right? Especially agent usage. You can see the top. You have OpenAI and Claude Opus model, OpenAI GPT 4.1, DeepSeek model, and this is called Qwen. And this one, the new model called Kimi K2, is also happening there. So next week I'll show you how to run this automatically in your computer. We'll do that later, but today I'm just giving this to you just to give you a heads up if you wanted to, or if you have interest to run it. Yeah. And okay, there are a lot of other things to share, but this is another one that I want to share. These are the other tools that you can use in your development process. You have Klein, Windsurf, of course, we talked about. Claude Code, we have talked about. Cursor. We haven't talked much about, of course, we have talked about Gemini, CLI, and maybe like KiloCode we haven't talked about. There are several extensions that you can install to Visual Studio. As an example, this is something called RuCode, right? So what these things are, these are different agents, right? So you can install these things for a very low cost, or either free. You can use these tools. I will show you how to use these tools. One called RuCode, one called Klein, and this one is called Klein. And similarly, there are other things like I showed you here. Don't get you disputed or confused, right? I'll give you a good documentation. I will upload all these things to what you call my course website. If you carefully go through this one, it's a pretty large documentation, 50 pages. As an example, if you are into conversational AI, so let me go to the table. It's easy to understand. So these are the ones that you use in ChatGPT. Maybe you have paid services, Claude. It's good to have one, Gemini. So that's fine, right? And these are the AI-powered code tools, development tools. Let's go down quickly. So you can use either Cursor, right? Or you can use Warp. But remember, the accuracies of these tools are less, where accuracies of something like Claude AI is higher, really higher. And this is another tool called Kiro IDE. I think I have installed that one as well, Kiro IDE. I haven't installed it yet. It's the newest one from Amazon. Actually, a few days back, they have released this. You can go and join the waiting list. Amazon has also jumped into the fight. So Amazon මේ වෙනකන් තාම idea එක එළියට දැම්මේ නැහැ. දැන් මේක ඔයාලට බලන්න පුළුවන් මේ තියෙන්නේ. මේකත් agents ගොඩක් ඉන්නවා. heavy models වලට හරියනවා, suit වෙනවා. I think you guys can go and join the list. මේක දුන්නා දැන් මේක waiting list එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා for some reason. ඉන්නවාට මේක free download කරගන්න පුළුවන් එතකොට cursor වගේම. ඒක වගේම මේකේ cheap ටිකක් Claude වල වඩා cheap මේක. Gemini නම් free version එකක් මම ඔයාලට හදලා පෙන්වුවා ගිය පාර. ඉතින් මේ Kiro කියන එකත් ඒ වගේ. ඒතර like just keep a tab on all these things. මම දන්නවා මේක හැම එකක් මොකක්ද අවශ්‍ය නැහැ, but පොඩි tab එකක් තියන් ඉන්න මේ document එක ළඟ තියාගන්න. මම මේක දෙන්නම් complete documentation එක. KiloCode and GitHub Copilot. ඊට පස්සේ if you are doing website building, of course, going back here, you can have Lovable, which I used earlier, or Bolt, or there's something called create.xyz. ඊට පස්සේ design to code automation, builder.io කියලා tool එකක් තියෙනවා. That is one of the best tools. There's only one here. You can do design එකක් තියෙනවා නම් ඒක code එකට convert කරන්න you can use builder.io. Let me quickly show it to you as well. I really wanted to show you this tool set. This is the one, right? So මෙතනදී වෙන්නේ දැන් Figma, if you know Figma, right? A lot of people know Figma, right? Figma, you have a Figma one created by your designers. You can directly import the Figma design to the builder. I think just try to see, guys, you know Figma community how big it is, right? Figma වල වෙනම sessions පවා තියෙනවා මේ globally මේ කට්ටිය set වෙලා මේ වගේ කට්ටිය set වෙලා design හදනවා, right? So you can just get a design and import it to builder.io, get the code, run it on Cursor, implement it. My goodness, test it with the other tools that I mentioned, and you have one of the perfect products, which is like having Microsoft එකේ quality නෑ කොහොමද? So NASA quality code එකක් අරගෙන, right? Clean code කියලා අපි කියන්නේ clean code development. We can even sell it, right? And then of course we have code quality tools. I told you about these things also. CodeRabbit, Sneak, right? And Jam Team for debugging. Jam Team and Adrenaline. Yeah, and then of course for documentation, Mintify. And then of course other advanced algorithm tools are OpenRouter. I told you about OpenRouter and Ninja tools. Gemini CLI, Claude CLI, OpenCode. OpenCode is also a great one, and also Cloud Shell. This you guys can use using Google. If you have Gemini access, you can go to Cloud Shell editor. You can get a Visual Studio Code editor on your basically on your browser, which is perfect. I'm like, it's just perfect. I loved it because you don't have to go and run everything on your computer. You can do it from anywhere in the world, and it has a storage as well. It has a storage. Everything will be saved, right? And it's the same thing, you know. And you can have Gemini Code Assist here. It automatically comes with Gemini Code Assist. So you missed my lecture on, I think it was the third session. We installed Gemini Code Assist. But now we can go to shellcloud.google.com and you can start doing everything. it seems a little bit slow here, but it works normally. All fine, all good. So basically, I think I have covered everything that I wanted to cover. And this is open code. It is also like Gemini CLI, but this is specifically developed to run either Gemini CLI, Claude Code, or any other command line based AI coder. So this also you can freely install if you want. Right, let me close everything to make sure I have covered every part. Probably there were some news items which I wanted to cover, but I will not go through this. You get bored. Yes, and only one last thing to share uh, before the end. So today I really want to talk about how to do evaluations, which is important, but I will do it on the next week. Otherwise, you get bogged down with all the lot of probably for some most of you the lot of new concepts. So I'll talk about these things, how to do this test and validation, how to work with matrices, everything next week. Yeah. So there's only one last thing to talk about. So I'll take a quick breath for you guys to check if there's anything missing or you wanted to clarify anything. Yeah. So yeah, cover this part as well. All good. Any questions? So thanks for hanging around. I think almost all of you are here yet. So I know today's one, but I covered quite a major part, which is the software that we have created. So you guys can now work on it, use the tools which I mentioned, at least use a very simple tool like Cursor or Gemini Express, uh, right? And just try to build up a better version of it, right? So then we'll try to sell it. That's our idea. So I told you, gave you this particular website, you can host it or anywhere else also you can host it, not a problem. And we'll talk in the next few sessions how to do a cloud SaaS or micro SaaS. We'll talk about how the cloud deployments happen. So we can use Vercel. So we are going to talk these things quite soon. Sorry, we cannot cover everything at once. We'll try to see how to do low cost deployments. If you want to deploy something fast, to sell it to a customer, and also you know that you can sell it for sure. It's a very limited cost. 5,000-6,000 මාසෙකට මේක host කරන්න ඔයගලන්ට try කරන්න පුළුවන් එක customer කෙනෙක් එක්ක. So once you get the customer base growing up, you can scale it up. So 2 lakhs Vercel or sub. There's so many other, right? But Vercel is a good one. Yeah, and then you can build a cloud SaaS or software as a service or micro SaaS. There are so many things. And we are going to work about a bit about AWS toolkits as well, because AWS have a lot of GenAI stuff. Even they have a GenAI certifications. I told you you can work on this certification if you're interested. Lanka මතන $50ක් වගේ anime certification එක ගන්න, if I'm not mistaken. It's quite a good one because they have a lot of products. So I know there are a lot of people who loves cloud. And there's nothing wrong in it because so especially Amazon Bedrock, it's perfect. So we'll talk about Amazon Bedrock very soon because there's a lot to learn here. There are a lot of tools, products that you might have to work with in the days to come because it has protocols like MCP and everything. It has Crew.ai. It's inbuilt. You have agent facilities like N8N. We talked about all these things plus gateways, memory, observability, code interpretation, plenty of things, and even knowledge bases. Yeah, so this is just a one called Amazon Bedrock. You know, there are Amazon. There are so many services. They have infrastructure. You can get servers. You can get GPUs. My goodness, it's a completely different world out there. So yeah, so we'll come to those things stepwise. But if you have an emergent need, please understand or please tell me. And of course, the whole point is start with the concept, develop the application fully, like how they do it in Amazon, like how they do it in Facebook. Otherwise, there's no point. අපි නිකන් මේ chat GPT tool එකට ගහලා කොට කොටලා info අරගෙන වෙලා දාලා වැඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. කිසිම තේරුමක් නැහැ. We have to go through the complete process and with the holistic objective of implementing something. Initially maybe for you, or maybe for your family, maybe for a friend, maybe for your own company. There's less risk, but start building things for itself. You don't have to think about a large product. I told you even Chrome extension would do. Who cares? Right, enough. So before we end, if you don't have any questions, I'll introduce you Kaggle competitions. It'll only take 1 or 2 minutes, don't worry. Now there's something called ARC prize. They're paying $1 million. 1 million. Lanka selling kodi tihai, right? We'll go to a simple one. And we are going to start with one probably next few weeks. So we'll go with this one, Neuro IPS, which is something that we can try out, and Open Polymer. And we are doing it here in this session, so you guys can also try it out. We'll select one random. I haven't gone through the idea, but we'll see what they wanted to get done. Take what you learned in okay, now we'll go to this one. They don't talk about something can you model unlock secrets of polymers කියලා කියන්නේ මේ chemical එකක් මම හිතන්නේ ඔය මේවට පාවිච්චි කරන ඇඳුම් design වලට. You task with predicting a fundamental properties of polymers to speed up at the development of a new. This is computational chemistry නැත්නම් computational design වගේ එකක්. Polymers are essential building blocks of the world, from the DNA within our bodies to the plastics we use every day. The key is to innovation to critical fields like medicine, electronics, and sustainability. Yes, electronics වලත් පාවිච්චි වෙනවා කියන්නේ. Medicine ඔක්කොමත් එක්ක. The search of the next generation of groundbreaking eco-friendly materials is on. මේ තියෙන ලෝකෙ තියෙන ලොකුම දේ තමයි eco-friendly වෙන්න ඕනේ. Our open polymer prediction challenge එකේදී කියන්නේ අපිට මේ වගේ හොයාගන්න එක. ඒතකොට ටිකක් අර knowledge එක ගන්න වෙනවා මේ technical side එකේ. හැබැයි end of the day, it's a matter of implementing it using your machine learning skills, right? So the cool thing about these competitions, data is already there. They're giving data for free. You can see the data files are already there. Poti files තියෙන මේක ගොඩාක් files නෙමෙයි. සමහර gigabyte 20 30වත් තියෙනවා. Right? And also there are people who are already working on it, and almost there code bases, you can open it up and even go through what they have done. Make a very fun competition. See, these are what they are already doing. So I can even copy paste it, copy and edit it, and I can create my own we call these Kaggle notebooks and start running it. Right? Now we can run this in Cursor as well. Right? So if you never knew how to code in Python, or you don't know much about machine learning, even computational chemistry or computational medicine, now we can start things, right? I can run this, right? Yeah, I probably have said this in the first day as well, but next week onwards, we are going to take like 10 or say 20 minutes and work on a competition like this. We are just starting to work with this. Like in bug bounty in Tuesday session, we are doing bounties. Last Tuesday, we started on a bounty program. Similarly, we are going to work with these competitions. Probably in the first few goes, we will not win anything. See, it's working. And I can install something. So we'll not win anything, but you'll learn a lot. You can keep a journal and you can start write-ups about what you are learning. And as you can see, there are models, and then there are discussions happening. You can communicate with people. You can build up a network with these scientists like what you are doing, and you can talk with these guys. Most of them are pretty honest and pretty wanting to, communicate with everyone. And there's the leaderboard as well. Right now, there's this guy called James Day. He's in the top. Yeah, so if you can go and probably follow him. He's in Virginia, United States. He's a competition master. He's right now 28 in the world. Of course, somebody has done so many competitions. Yeah, he had almost participated 16 competitions. So get familiarized with Kaggle environment. There's a lot to learn here, guys. If you think, okay, Matarang maths bad, don't worry. We'll learn maths. Matarang makeup, no, don't worry. These are the days that you can jump to these things. If you are doing these things without, going to this competition, there's no point. You're not learning actually. You're not learning. If you can't go and compete in a competition like this, there's nothing that you can learn. And of course, there's learning stuff here, really great stuff. You can see I have done few here and there because I taught these courses for some time. So even for programming Python, you can go here and you can learn through real practicals. what I told you, how to do a print and how to do, all this stuff. But don't worry, I'm going to cover some of them, but you can start on your own. Yeah, it's almost getting to 9:30. I just wanted to give you some of the competitions that we are working, but you don't have to work with all those huge competitions. There are small, like, simpler competitions. Even they are paying. So there are even things that they don't pay, but just for learning purpose only. But as you can see, there are plenty of things. And remember, it's not only Kaggle, there are so many other places you can do such competitions. All right, guys, it's been 2 hours almost. Maybe I was a little fast today because in the latter stage, I really wanted to give you that idea of the tool or the workflows. But don't worry, it will eventually you will go through all these tool sets and familiarize yourself, because we are going to deal with projects. So today we actually had the starting point to start with the real project. I gave you the code base. Now we are going to work on top of it. Right. I think it's a good time to stop the session. But before that, like always, any questions, any comments, any clarification, doubts, or any recommendations, any review, anything, go ahead. And thanks for hanging around. Yes.
Any AI community sites like very popular to be with?
Plenty, Kavinder. Of course, you can go to Discord, right? The first thing is I would say go to Discord, go to Hugging Face, right? So I said that I'm also going to create my own community here, but there are plenty of huge communities. You don't have to come to my community at all. So if you go to Hugging Face community, you can see there are 4,000, 5,000 people. And if you go here, Hugging Face, you can introduce yourself and all these guys, you can ask for help. Machang, I'm looking for a job in Sweden. Can you please help me? Even from those questions to I'm working on a Kaggle competition. Machang, can you help me? Likewise, and ethics, politics, off topics, robotics, everything, MCP. So even MCP, they have something. And then there are voice discussions, community discussions. There are events happening. You can see how big this is, like number of channels, sub channels in Hugging Face. Similarly, I'm registered with so many what do you call this hugging Discord channels. I have even created several categories. So there are several AI related. There's something called Kaido. Kaido is for cybersecurity, and there are so many actually. Most of them are security for me, but for even AI, there are plenty more, right? So yeah, there are some AI LLM related. Of course, you can go to Midjourney. Again, there's a huge community. Yeah, that's one. So so you ask the question. Discord is one, and of course, Kaggle. There's a huge community here, guys. Kavinder, like you can directly go here, go to communities first. Passively view what they're discussing about, and then of course you have Build Club. My goodness, there are so many places that you guys can. This is one of the best times to live in. Go and directly join these clubs. And unfortunately, we don't have anything in Sri Lanka right now, but you can go to online meetings, right? And you can talk to these guys. These are pretty amazing people out there, right? So very quite friendly. And Slascom also has some stuff happening because I was a kind of a member in two teams. Uh, they have several. Uh, you guys can even work with those. These are called COE. I was here in this AI CX and cybersecurity CX. Maybe my name is still there. I'm not sure. Cybersecurity forum. Yeah, I was a part of that particular team earlier. And also like they have their meetings, events. So I think they have some WhatsApp groups. You guys can join in or you can become a member. You don't have to pay anything, right? So that's one. And of course, there were several other clubs. Of course, probably about Google I/O, right? Most of you probably here knows about these things. They also have communities, right? Google I/O. Even there's a one coming in Sri Lanka. Go to these events. Most of them are free. Uh, Maybe it's happening today, is it? I'm not sure. Yeah. And there are a lot of other cool things happening around the world. I can't exactly remember. There was a one particular site where you have all those events, conference. I think it's called a conference alert. Uh, and these are having these ones that come in the what you ask for, which are like small clubs around to communicate with people. And most of them are free, right? So you don't have to pay for most of these things. That's the cool thing about it. Yeah, so, and then there, of course, Reddit is a great place. You can talk with people. If you slash go and talk about GenAI, you can find plenty of people who are really communicating and working with stuff. Okay. Any other questions? Good. Right, guys. So please bring your questions next time onwards. So it's good to meet. And tomorrow session, because I'll be traveling to Sri Lanka, so I'll be not having tomorrow session, but I'll do it on Sunday night or Monday night on our research session. Please ask, all of you are here, please join it. Because our plan is something the same, but we are not restricted to AI. But it's almost same, but we are going to learn a completely different thing, which I'm not going to cover this one or cybersecurity, which is about research. And there's a lot you have to learn about it. And don't worry, this is not for people who are doing academics or, no, nothing. Research is something that done by all those people living like 1,000 years back. Leonardo da Vinci to Pythagoras, everybody is a researcher. But මේ පස්සේ කාලේ දුන්නේ මොකද්ද මේ රිසර්ච් කියන එක hijack කරා. දැන් මේක මේ යුනිවර්සිටි එකක් ළඟ තියාගෙන මට ඒක හරිම ඒක සම්බන්ධ තරහත් එක්ක මේ රිසර්ච් කරන්නේ මේ මොලේ තියෙන මිනිස්සු තරයි කියලා බොරුවක් දාගෙන මහා විකාරයක් කරනවා. ඒක හරියට කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. ගොඩක් කට්ටිය කරන බොරුව. PhD 1000ක් ගත්තාම මේ දවස්වල රිලේටඩ් PhD 1000 එක්කෙනෙක් දෙන්නයි ඇත්තම ලෝකෙට වැඩක් කරන්නේ. ඉතින් එහෙම නොවෙන්න ඕන රිසර්ච් කියන එක එහෙම දෙයක් නෙමෙයි හැමෝටම කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක්. පොඩි ළමයින්ට රිසර්ච් කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. සම්පූර්ණ වැරදි දීලා තියෙන concept එක. ඉතින් ඒක හරියට අල්ල ගන්න ඕනේ නැට්ටෙන් අල්ල ගන්න නැතුව. So please invite others as well. So there's a lot to learn about research. And of course the big companies have identified it. Some Google මම හිතන්නේ යුනිවර්සිටිස් නැති කරන්න යන ඉස්සරහට ලෝකෙ ඒක යුනිවර්සිටිස් වල වැඩ කරන ගාම මේක කියන්නේ වැරදි ඇති. හැබැයි ඉස්සරහට මේ Google කියන්නේ යුනිවර්සිටිස් අවශ්‍යත්වම අවශ්‍යයි. ඒලා තියෙන යුනිවර්සිටිස් මේ බිස්නස් කරගෙන තියෙන දෙයක්. ඉස්සර යුනිවර්සිටි එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ guys is learning about universe. Basically learning science. ඒක ආර්ට්ස් වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒක සයන්ස් එකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒක සයන්ස් කිව්වම මේක මේ ටෙක්නිකල් දෙයක් නෙමෙයි. සයන්ස් කියලා කියන්නේ what is the truth. ඉතින් ඕන දෙයක් ට්‍රුත් එක තමයි අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ. ඇකඩමික් කෙනෙක් ඩාන්සින් කරන මියුසික් කරන කෙනෙකුට ඒක true music ඕනේ ඒගොල්ලන්ට. Once you learn that you can create any type of music. So ඉතින් යුනිවර්සිටිස් කරලා තියෙන්නේ අර ඒක මේ courses හදලා බොරුවක් කරලා ඉතින් ඒ දැන් චොර වෙලා කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒකයි අනිත් පැත්තට යනවා. ඒක තමයි වෙන ලොකුම වෙනස. ඒක හොඳ දෙයක්. ඉතින් සමහර දේවල් බයින් වෙලා තියෙන හැමදේ ඩිග්‍රියක් නැතුව ජොබ් එකක් ගන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක්පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒකින්ද මමත් උගන්න අවුරුදු ගාණක් උගන්නපු කෙනෙක් විදිහට එහෙම කියන එක වැරදි ඇති. හැබැයි අපි ලෝක ගැන ඊට වඩා ටිකක් ඕපන්ලි බලන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් ලොකු කම්පැනිස් එක අයිඩෙන්ටිෆයි කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් they know that. එහෙම කියලා මම කියන්නේ ෆන්ඩමෙන්ටල්ස් ඕනේ නැහැ කියලා. ෆන්ඩමෙන්ටල්ස් ඕනේ. ඉතින් ෆන්ඩමෙන්ටල්ස් නැතුව කිසිම දෙයක් කරන්න බෑ. ඉතින් ඉස්සර මිනිස්සු ෆන්ඩමෙන්ටල්ස් දැනගෙන තමයි හැමදේම කරන්න පටන් ගත්තේ. If you go and read about stories about Da Vinci to Pythagoras to even to some extent up to say early 19th century, not sorry, early 20th century, it was like that. But after probably 1950s, 60s මේ මේක පොඩි අවුලක් වෙලා තියෙනවා universities වල. Too much politicized වෙලා තියෙනවා. If you want to get a PR, you have to go through university. ඒක ඔක කරාට පස්සේ තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ වෙනවා වගේ දේවල් හින්දා. So anyway, it's just a topic that you all need to keep a tab on. මොකද ඔක ලෝකෙ වෙනස් වෙනවා ඉස්සරහට කවුරු කැමතුනත් නැති වුණත්. Anyway guys, thank you so much and have a good night and have a nice week and weekend ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.